Hello there, you YouTubers. Smoking my BP Jum pipe that I got from AJ, aka Visual Stenographer. In it, I'm smoking. Yeah, McBaron's HH Vintage Syrian. It's great stuff. This video is actually an entry to Burleyman40's competition about selling something about yourself that the YouTube pipe community don't know about yourself, about them. Mm. Mm. Well, I did make some videos last summer about my dad, who was a conductor, you know, and he was also a violinist. He conducted the Aalborg Symphony Orchestra and the National Radio Symphony Orchestra and other symphony orchestras in Denmark. And he recorded some albums in America, actually in New York. It was from a radio program, a Scandinavian radio program called, I think, Viking, Radio Viking or something, that were on the air in the late 40s in New York. And my mother has those. Enough about my dad. But they say that the apple very often don't fall too far from the tree. Oh, that's the same thing in Denmark anyway. And there's a point to that. Well, I'm not making my living by playing music, but I certainly have played music for a long time. I mean, I'm 45 now. I've been playing the guitar since I was 14, so that's quite some years now. Haven't been playing the guitar that much lately, but I still play my guitar now and then. That being electric guitar for me. I have been in a few bands. None of them really. Well, there was one we nearly got a single out, nearly, but not quite. We had two numbers that we wanted to send out, and the producer, the guy who had to mix it and everything, he liked the one number, he didn't like the other one. He wanted us to play one of his songs, and we just got, fuck you and all that. We didn't want that. So didn't get beyond that. Just a moment. and that was that was a real long time ago. That was like in could have been like 1980 or something. I was still in school. The band was called what was it called? Let me think. Yeah, Polyness with two S's, and with the two S's we made like the two S's in Kiss, the Polyness. I don't know if it meant anything, but that's what's actually the first band I was in. The second band I was in was actually, well, the first band we played Kiss and AC/DC numbers. That was sort of our thing. We didn't have a bass player. We had me on guitar, and we had a drummer and a singer, I think, who played another guitar, but it was like a really old guitar from the 60s with really thick strings on, so we turned it down so it was sort of a bass, but not really. We played the track Shandy by Kiss, and we played the Problem Child with the AC/DC. That was two of the numbers we played. Almost to the next band. Next band was called Silicium, which I think is like a material that's in the ground. That's one of the I don't know what it's called in English. Main components in the earth, I think, something. And that was more like a pop rock band. And that was like more like we had a drummer, a bass player, me on guitar. We had a keyboard player who actually had a Hammond organ and a Leslie and synthesizers and everything. And we had a good-looking woman in the front as a singer. And we did we were in some contests, amateur contests, and got, I think, one of the times second place or something, which was huge to us. But I mean, we played together for, I don't know, a year and a half or 2 years something, and then I finished school. My friends finished 10th grade, and then I went to high school. And it's not the high school you know as high school. I don't know how what's like translation, like the real, like the precise translation is high school. It's called højskole in Danish, but it's not your type of high school. It's like a place where you go after school, where you can paint, or you can take photograph, or you can play music, and you live together with other people your age and stuff, and you are allowed to party, but not smoke hash or anything like that. Of course we did. We didn't smoke it. We ate it. In fudge. I think it's called in English. Yeah. You take sugar and put it on the frying pan, and it gets like liquidy, and then it stiffens, and you eat it. Yeah. Well, we put some funny stuff in there besides sugar. I was like 25 years ago or something. Different times. Damn it. Okay. Anyway, of course, I chose to play music at that place, and we played together all types of music, but we didn't really have a band. It's just we were educated in in practice techniques and our instrument in playing together with other people and stuff, you know. But very often was more like world music or something. It wasn't really my kind of music, but you know, it was still, I liked it. I mean, because it was with people that I liked, you know. What then? Well, that was the first high school. What we call it. It was from 1984 and into 1985, and then I moved back home, and then I joined. Got to another one. By the way, the first high school was a youth high school, whatever it's called, youth for people up to 18 years old. But you could start in at 16 and be there until you're 18, and it was 6 month time you were there. And the next one was for, I guess you could say, grown-ups. So there was not really a age limit, really, but everybody was over 18. But it was grown-ups. The same amount of time, also 6 months. And that was from the fall '86 to winter to next year in '87. And after that I moved out to what is the second largest city in Denmark, called Aarhus, where I lived for 12 years. And during that time I was in let's see, I was in I think 2 or 3 bands. There was one band I don't know, I think we played twice or something, called Gash. It was a metal band, death metal band. And then I was in a band called that's more like a garage band called TheRolfiden, and you maybe over there know what that means. It's naughty. And the last band I was in, and last band I've been in, ever since, we were called Broken Silence. Well, the Furburger band was more like 60s inspired bands at the time. That was actually the first band when I moved to Aarhus. Yeah. I was very much into mod, into scooters, and 60 early and mid 60s bands, and a lot of Tamla Motown and Stax and all that. And also listen to the bands of that time, the Jam and all those kind of bands. And I actually got a scooter, a Vespa Sprint 150 cubic scooter, which I guess is like a small motorcycle. A year older than me. It was a scooter from 1965, and I'm from '66. But so it was without blink lights. So when you had to turn right, you had to reach your arm out to the right, and vice versa with the left when you had to turn left. And with the kickstart and everything, you know, cool vehicle. So I was a mod from '87 to, I don't know, until 90 or 91 or something. Then I slowly turned back to heavy metal and metal music, and I've more or less been there ever since. But as you may or may not have heard, I do listen to other kind of music. I listen to, because of my dad and my mom, listen to classical music. I like modern jazz. I like more like normal, like just rock. Like, for me, the band is The Who. Others would say the Beatles. I say The Who. Doesn't mean I don't like the Beatles, but There you go. What else? Um but after that band, the last band, Broken Silence. Oh yeah, we played our own numbers, and what's because we were very different. It was like the drummer was 10 years younger than me, so he was grew up with the Fat Boys and with the hip hop and all that stuff, which I wasn't. So he came in with hip hop, then me with rock and metal, and then the singer with more like alternative. Somebody out there maybe know Gigi Allen, was really like an extreme artist who used to shit on stage and cut himself with glass and eat the shit and everything and throw shit at the audience and everything. And of course he took a lot of drugs and died, and other alternative stuff and some very hippie stuff. Jefferson Airplane. So it was like a punk slash hippie, which doesn't really make sense, but there you go. He grew his own pot and everything, And then was a female bass player, and a really good lead guitar player. And we played for, I think about 4 years. It's the band I have been playing in for the longest time. And we also competed in some contests up in the north of Jutland twice. I was actually too old to compete, so I lied about my age. Yeah. So music has always been and will always be very important to me. I mean, so yeah. So I think that's about it. I hope I win. But if I don't, I live. I mean, I just got a fabulous uh, pipe from AJ and some nice tobacco and stuff. So I cannot complain. Not really. And next week I get my paycheck. Yay! Fantastic. I'm really looking forward to that because I'm going to visit with Pipe Scratch. I think Søren Rifbjerg Rasmussen, that some of you might know out there. A lot of you have pipes because of Pipe Scratch from Søren or Soren, as you would say, because you can't say Ø. E-Y-O. Yeah. So that will be interesting if it turns out to be anything. I don't know, because he has to call and arrange and everything, But if everything goes according to plan, I might do a video out there at Søren's place and maybe like film some of his pipes and everything, or certainly when I go home I will make a video about the trip. So until next time, I'll say, like I always do,